Staying with the theme of cultural evolution, let's take a deeper look into the area of art. It is quite apparent that each culture seems to develop its own art forms, and although each type of art varies by color scheme, perspective, and style, they are all considered to be beautiful by their respective cultures. Take, for example, Eight Red Rectangles by Malevich, or Starry Night by Van Gogh, or even The Bean by Kapoor. They all vary drastically, but their cultures all consider them to be beautiful works. Different cultures, spanning time and place, may look at them differently and hold them to a different beauty of standard in their own culture. So then the question arises, how do we come to know beauty? To try and gain this knowledge, we can begin by asking a knowledge question, examining claims and counterclaims around it, hoping to reach a level of deeper understanding. The first question we will examine is that beauty seems to be ever changing. So, is it possible to come up with a single definition, or is it even possible to know what true beauty is?
Before we can even approach this question, we need to define beauty. Beauty can be defined as a combination of qualities such as shape, color, or form that pleases the aesthetic senses, especially the sight. The arts can be defined as the expression or application of human creative skills and imagination, typically in visual forms. Our position is that beauty cannot be actually known. It is possible to define something that is always changing and is so subjective. We can come to know this beauty through research, learning about the different art of past cultures as well as why it was considered beautiful. We must also take time to reflect on art. Why do we consider certain types of art to pass our own standard of beauty? What similarities can we distinguish between some of the greatest paintings that exist? As our overall knowledge of these various types of art increase, we can then try to reach a single definition of beauty based on the similarities that will become apparent.
After this research, we came up with the claim that the standard of beauty can only be known on a personal level. Because of the subjective nature surrounding art, a universal definition of beauty is just not truly possible to be known. But this is not enough. We must think of possible counterclaims and see what is viable about them or what is not. And when we do this, we can then ask new knowledge questions and develop new claims in a repeating cycle until we can form an even greater understanding. This whole process will lead us to true knowledge on cultural evolution from the perspective of art, which will then in turn lead to greater understanding of the other processes and thus gain true knowledge on the subject matter at hand.
Going through this cycle once is not going to be enough to gain a true understanding on the subject matter. We will need to continue to further investigate into art before true knowledge can be gained on the subject matter. For example, we can pose another knowledge question to be investigated. For say, how does our personal knowledge of beauty affect our perception of reality and thus our ability to come to know the world around us? After making this claim, we can follow the process as before to come to a better understanding of the subject surrounding the question. After research and careful articulation, we can come to the conclusion that if our personal knowledge of beauty is undeveloped, it may lead to a superficial perception of what is deemed beautiful by the masses and can cloud judgment, while well developed knowledge on beauty tends to lead to a more in depth and correct understanding of the world around us.
As one can see, each question leads to a deeper and deeper understanding of the perspective of art, and so if the process is continued to be repeated, true knowledge will eventually be gained on the subject matter at hand.